And we are back. We have Tulan Shagon Tuwo representing House Arawa, a very experienced fighter, experienced warrior. He's facing off a fighter with equal experience, Nadada, representing House Kudu. So both fighters take the center of the arena. Let's go round one. Tuwo in the red, Nadada in the green. Both fighters in the center of the arena, circling each other, looking for the opportunity to strike, as is customary in Dambe. And we are doing what we do best. Two warriors fighting on sand in Nigeria, northern Nigeria, Dambe, the martial art of the people of northern Nigeria, the Hausa people. Ancient, honorable sports, the art of the spear and the shield. And we African warriors are the home of Dambe, and we are always very happy and proud to bring you the best Dambe content. I'm Max Okalu, the voice of the African Warriors Arena. So far, we just had both fighters circling each other, looking for opportunities, just understanding the fighter that's facing them. As I mentioned, both fighters are very experienced. So fighters with this level of experience don't need to rush anything. They know where opportunities come from. So here we just have Tuwo with a lot of hand movement, trying to give Nadada something to worry about. Nadada just looking quite stoic, just quietly, slowly mimicking Tuwo's movements, mirroring his movements. Tuwo with that outstretched hand, comes forward, decides against it. So feints are very important in Dambe, that positioning, if you can get your opponent out of wall and Nadada lands a big shot to the side of the head. Both men swing at the same time, both men with big overhand punches. Nadada just very light on his feet, jumping up and down, a bit of a taekwondo-esque style from him. Tuwo with that extended hand, as you can see, stretching. Oh, both men. So Tuwo comes in with that overhand very quickly. Watch how he does it. He extends the unwrapped hand, then goes back over with his wrapped hand, landing his overhead punch. So both fighters have different styles. Tuwo has a bit more of a scrappy style, I would say. Nadada can be a technician when he wants to be, so let's see if he's drawn into a scrap. Oh, nice uppercut there for Nadada lands, and he goes back with an overhand. Oh, lands an overhand also. Tuwo always also leading his own punch. So both men just swinging at the same time. Offense is very much the order of the day. Just watching each other in and out. Ooh, big shots there for Tuwo. Doesn't quite connect with anything, but just showing the ferocity of those punches gives Nadada something to worry about. Nadada inching forward, looking for his own shots. And that is the end of round one. So Tuwo in the red there, the veteran. So here we just have some of the best moments from that round we just saw. Here you have Tuwo just inching forwards, then here you have both men swing those overhands at the same time. Slight clash of heads. There's that uppercut there from Nadada. I love that punch he threw there. That overhand, just dropping his head, swinging his punch. There you go, lands on the side of the head also. Both men just swinging shots. You notice Tuwo, when he swings his overhand, if he misses that, he just instantly returns with a backhand. So maximizing his chances of hitting any target. So here were just some punches from Tuwo. Nadada did well to not take any of those punches, moved out of the way and blocked. So this second round, let's see who's able to really stamp. Here we have Tuwo just listening to the musicians, answering the call. I think both fighters had moments of success, but nothing landed with huge meaning. So going into this second round, it's who can really pull away from their opponent. You have Nadada just answering the call of the musicians, the drums, the traditional drums of Dambe, the soundtrack of this sport. And we go round 2. Nadada smiling there. Tuwo comes forward. Tuwo seems to be starting this round quite aggressively. Both men swinging shots there. Uppercut misses for Nadada. Both men with overhand shots. A real pace to start this second round. Tuwo is pumped up, you can see. Both men with the overhands. Uppercut again for Nadada. Both men swinging big shots at the same time. Oh, big shot there lands for Nadada. Kick also. Tuwo with that overhand. We are very much cooking. Both men with overhand punches. Tuwo again just coming forward. Just in his opponent's face. Angry. He wants him to know that he's here to knock him out. He's ready to knock him out. Pumping himself up the whole time. Tuwo is very much in this fight. Wants to stamp his authority on this fight. Nadada keeping a calmer, cooler head. Also landing his own shots, his own punches back. But Tuwo just looks mean. He looks annoyed. Maybe because the pacing of this fight hasn't really suited him. He hasn't felt that he's been able to really stamp his authority and personality on this fight. So he just looks pumped up in this second round. Both men have calmed down a bit, I think. When you set that kind of pace, it's extremely difficult to keep it up, even through a whole round. So Dambe very much goes in ebbs and flows. You have these big sprint moments where both men just swing punches, wild abandon. Then you have moments where both men just take a second to understand their opponent more, to think about and review their strategies. So it looks like we're very much having the latter right now. Both men back to that feinting, in and out movement, seeing if they can get their opponent out of position and ultimately find the opportunity. Tuwo is now back with the quick feints, inching forward. Nadada goes back with an overhand. Slight clinch moment. They separate themselves. Overhands from both fighters again. Nadada with the quicker punch there. Nice overhand lands for Nadada. Another one lands for him also. And that is the end of the second round. Tuwo does not want the round to finish. He's following his opponent, saying, "Where are you going? I'm still in this fight." Tuwo is pumped up. So here we just have this moment of pace at the beginning, where both fighters were just swinging punches at the same time, swinging big overhands, going for shots. No significant landing. Nobody seemed like they were in any real danger at any point, I think. But both fighters were very much showing that they wanted to win this fight. You can just see the concentration, the intensity in Nadada's eyes here. So you can just see slight fighting for hand control, because both men very much knew that overhand punch, if you can make sure his blocking hand is not in the way, if you can land an overhand punch, there's a great uppercut for Nadada. I really like the uppercut. So both men just swinging big shots, big punches. I think Nadada was able to do, and there's a big shot to prove it, Nadada was able to do slightly better with the targeting of his punches. His punches were landing more. Tuwo was very much, maybe even leading in terms of output, but I wouldn't say in terms of precision. But Tuwo, as you can see here, was just inching forward, wanted to fight, wanted to win. Just coming forward angrily. And he was pumped up in that second round also. So both men just swinging big overhand shots, overhand punches. There's a slight punch there from Nadada, which just seemed to slightly rock Tuwo. Overhands. It was overhand city in this fight so far. You would think Dambe, considering there's only one punching hand. Round 3, let's go. Because there's only one punching hand, don't ever think that your punches in Dambe are limited. Dambe fighters are great at throwing punches from different angles. So you see overhands, you see hooks, you see uppercuts, you see corkscrew punches, you see punches that are very much varied in the angles that they're thrown from, different levels of power thrown or committed to each punch. So considering you're only being punched with one hand, there are a lot of ways to be knocked out. So both fighters seem to be talking to each other. Just some gamesmanship. I'm still here, it's round 3, I'm not going anywhere. Are you still here with me? Tuwo again with that very quick feints, those just high energy feints. Both men with overhands again, big punches from both sides. Overhand, Nadada goes for a kick which doesn't connect. Both men swinging shots. Punches. Tuwo again pumped himself up. Doesn't seem happy with his performance. I think maybe because he hasn't been able to land punches. He's been swinging them, but hasn't landed a huge amount. There you can just see Nadada just doing well. Tuwo seems annoyed now. I think he's annoyed that he can't. Ooh, Nadada comes in with a big punch there. I think that one rocked Tuwo slightly. Nadada with another punch. Both men swinging punches at the same time. Nadada doing better at keeping away from those punches. Tuwo seems frustrated. He's pumping himself up. And it's a good example of don't let your emotions lead you in a fight. Do not let your emotions lead you. Emotion obviously plays a part in it. The drums very much speak to that and try and stir on that emotion. But equally, you shouldn't be led by emotion. You should know that you're here to fight. You should understand that your opponent wants you frustrated because that makes his job easier. Makes it easier for him to land punches if you're concerned, if you're angry, if you're emotional. And I think Nadada has just been able to keep a cooler head. And if anything, it just shows a level of higher discipline. It just sends the right signal that he's not concerned about anything. He's not the one that's angry in there. And he's been able to land precise punches also. But this is Dambe. Dambe is a very unique sport. There are so many different layers to this sport. And both fighters, as I mentioned, are experienced, so they're not newcomers in Dambe. They know the tricks. They know different ways to try and get under the skin of their opponent. Tuwo in itself might just be performing, when Nadada lands a great punch. I love the way he just threw that from the outside, closed the distance very quickly, hit the chin. Both men swinging now. We have some clinch moments here. Tuwo with a nice punch in the clinch. Both men with those overhand punches. Tuwo again back to pumping himself up. And that is the end of the fight. Tuwo is obviously annoyed by that fight. So in this last round, we just had overhands from both men, as you could see there. That one seemed to slightly put Tuwo on his back foot. There's a kick attempt there from Nadada, does not land, but it's always good to keep your opponent guessing. Overhand shots from both men there. Overhands again. What a fight. One of those cagey fights. It was clear that both fighters had a level of respect for each other. I think Tuwo wanted more from Nadada, but ultimately it's not Nadada's position to keep Tuwo happy in a fight. It's his position to win. There's a good shot there that lands for Nadada. Both men with overhand shots there. So the overhand was very much the fight of this, or the punch of this fight. Overhands again. That one landed well for Tuwo. Then Nadada tries to sneak in the uppercuts. Then here we have the clinch moment. Tuwo just aggression, pure aggression and frustration there. Nadada comes back with another overhand. Tuwo just inching forward with his slightly janky style. And that is judged as a draw. African Warriors Fighting Championship.